Okay, here we go. Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for meeting with me. I know we are all really busy, so I appreciate you taking time. And I wanted to talk through something that I think could help strengthen our team's connection and dynamics. And recently, I've noticed some signs that might be feeling a bit detached in our executive meetings. So, can you tell me maybe a little bit more about how things have been going for you lately?
Well, I think they've been going fine.
Okay. Well, I hear you. And it sounds like you're feeling fine, as you said, and maybe you might be feeling a little misunderstood by the team. Could you help me understand which areas you might feel that you aren't being acknowledged by the group?
Well, I mean, you wanted to meet with me. I mean, it's fine. It's like I said, I mean, I just go in and I do what needs to be done. I don't get a lot of cooperation, but I'm used to that. And I feel like, as long as I do what I need to do, then really nobody can have any problem with me.
I hear that. And it must be frustrating to feel like you're constantly being pulled. I am a little curious though. Do you think there's any specific action we could take together to help you feel maybe a bit more connected to the team without feeling overburdened?
Well, I really don't see the point, to be honest with you. Whenever I have tried to like work on a team or get something going, I feel like there's like there are a couple of people who always seem to have some kind of issue with it and end up, undermining what I'm trying to do. And it's just, I've just learned to just stay in my lane, do what I need to do. Don't try to really get anything else going. Um, that it is what it is.
Totally. I get that. And maybe one thing we can try is to help clarify when team discussions require input and when maybe they can be handled independently. Would that be something you'd be open to?
Um, I mean, yeah, I guess why, why are we even doing this? Like, is there some sort of problem with my work?
No, I don't think there
What are you
is.
trying to get at?
I don't think there's particularly something wrong with your work. Um, we have been talking as a team, and it just feels a bit
Has somebody
disconnected.
complained to you?
Someone didn't complain directly about you. It's about the entire team dynamics. And I just want to make sure we can work as a team and come together in order to get our best work. And it doesn't seem like we are getting our best work out of the entire team. So I
Mhm.
will be meeting with everyone one on one. So this is pretty precautionary in this sense. Um, it does seem like in some situations, right, there doesn't need to be a full team dynamic. Some things can be done independently. So I'm just want your input to see if we can talk through those type of situations and instead of um, you know, arguing as a team when we don't need to. We can figure out which situations we can work on independently, which ones we need to work on as a team. And once we
Mhm.
clarify those situations, then maybe we can all get on track and come together as a team in the end. Would that be something that
Yeah, I mean,
could...
I have become progressively more and more a fan of working independently. I do not feel that I have uh, support from my team. I feel like when I'm, as their leader, when I go to them and I say, we have this project or what's the status of this, I feel like I never get a straight answer. And it's really hard for me to be able to manage people when um, I don't feel like I can even talk to them. They're either very defensive whenever I ask a question, or I get all these excuses, and it just leaves me feeling frustrated and like, I can really only focus on those tasks, which I do and work independently.
Right. I hear you. And that does sound very frustrating, right? Not having support can be very frustrating. So what I'd like to figure out is maybe how we could possibly get you feeling like you have a bit more support from your team. So maybe we can work on outlining a plan where we can still guide the team to work together and feel less on the spot during meetings, maybe where we can feel like each person is supporting each other and benefiting from one another and feeling fully present in the moment, even in a more streamlined role. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Ben, that sounds really ideal. And when I first started this job, that's what I was hoping for. That's what I was envisioning. My other company, it was not like this.
Hmm.
And I do feel like I could use some additional training. Having difficult conversations is not something, I mean, I don't think anybody likes to do it.
Right.
And sometimes it is required. And I just feel like there's a gap there maybe for me and my skill set.
Well, that's awesome to hear that you're open to additional work and additional training on your end. I think that's a huge step forward. And if more people are open to training and learning more about how to work not only as a team, but as a unit, we can all benefit from that. So, what do you
I
think?
really do want to do a good job,
Right.
and I do want to lead a team that works and is functional. It's really stressful and causes me anxiety to come in here every day.
Right. And I can totally, even from the short session we've had, I can see how passionate you are about your work and that you do want to do a good job. And that's pretty much why we're meeting, why we're trying to figure this out, because at the end of the day, we all want to work together and have our work benefit everyone, right? So, what do you think besides, some extra training that we can definitely get everyone in on, hopefully? What do you think the next big step um, would be to possibly get support from these other team members?
Well, I guess what I'd like to understand is maybe where they see the gaps. What's preventing them from wanting to work more as a team? Is it something I'm doing? Is
Mhm.
it something completely external? Is it like a bad apple in the team, like ruining the whole bunch? I don't know. I don't know. I know that there are a couple of people who seem to gossip constantly. Like every time I walk past, they're together and they hushed tones kind of thing. I don't think they're talking about work necessarily. I think it's personal stuff or it's possibly gossiping stuff. So that would be, I think, really beneficial for me to understand like where they're at because I can't chart a course if I don't know where everybody's at.
Right. So that's definitely definitely understandable. And I think that as we progress through these one-on-one meetings and start to get to the root of everyone's concerns, we can really find out what's causing that disconnect. And I think the right step moving forward, taking baby steps here, one step at a time, would be to get everyone a little bit more training on being more supportive in the workspace, working as a team together.
Hmm.
Um, maybe group, not one-on-one, but group therapy sessions, and maybe so we can have an open conversation together about what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think group training and like group coaching would be possibly really beneficial. We had that at my last job and that did help.
Okay, so
So
yeah,
that
that's
would be good.
awesome. That's awesome to hear. And it's definitely something we can look into moving forward.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you for being open to talking with me today and trying to get to the root of what's going on here. I think we have a pretty solid plan moving forward on what we can do as a team and what we're going to do to benefit ourselves as a whole and individually. So
Okay.
I'd like to just finally get your last input or any final questions you have for me before we wrap up.
Yeah, I got to say, when I started this call, I was really apprehensive. I didn't know what this was all about. But now I do feel like maybe there's some things that will be happening, and maybe there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. So just thank you for that.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And yeah, so I think we have a solid plan looking forward, and I think everything will be brighter on the other side.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Okay.
All right. Nicely done. All right. So, do you want to go first with feedback or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can go over a little bit on how I felt. I
Okay.
definitely I don't I didn't feel super fluid throughout it. A couple times felt a little stumped, so I could definitely use a little bit more preparation. Um, I had kind of an outline of how I wanted to present or talk to you about going through this situation. And,
Hmm.
nothing usually goes exactly according to plan when you're going into a one-on-one meeting. So,
Yeah.
being able to not stay on this linear path of what I have outlined in my head is definitely a strategy or definitely a skill that I need to work on and be better
Yeah.
at. So like the fluidness, um, going down each path any way it goes, maybe taking a little bit more time um, after you stop talking to think about more beneficial questions to ask you. And yeah,
Which program are you in?
I'm in executive coaching consulting.
Okay. When did you start?
I started last fall.
Okay. Because I started in February. So
Hmm.
this semester are my last, like, before the capstone in my internship, and then I graduate in
Yeah,
May. So
same
we're
way.
like on the same route. Yeah. Um, so I thought you did a really good job of sort of navigating, and I didn't mean to throw you when we first started and I said, "Oh, I think everything's fine." I just wanted to like
No,
I think that's probably realistic of what
yeah,
somebody's going to say. Like
no.
they're not going to want to, but I felt like I was like, "Oh crap, I didn't mean to like throw this person like right off the gate." Anyway, I did feel like you did a good job of sort of navigating through like what I was saying to try to pull me back onto the points of what you were trying to achieve. The only or one of the constructive things that I might say is I did feel like if that were really me, I might have felt, especially early on in the conversation, like you really weren't interested in
Hmm.
what I was saying because you sort of leapfrogged. So I said to you, I don't feel like I have support. You might have said, like, tell me more about that. Like, in what ways do you not? Because even if it's not germane to this particular conversation, me feeling heard by you would
Hmm.
be beneficial because then I like you more, and then
Right.
we're a team. You and I are going through this together as opposed to you're just some corporate guy that they're making me talk to.
Hmm.
So that would be the only thing is just to lean into the to it a little bit and be like, all right, tell me more about that. Like, what don't you feel? Because I might also tell you, like, well, they're a bunch of jerks and blah, blah, blah. And then like, oh, she doesn't have emotional awareness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you might get more. So,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I definitely felt like when you did say you didn't feel supported, I kind of breezed over it. Like I remember I said, yeah, I totally understand that, right? You don't feel supported. That's very
yeah,
frustrating. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That was all good. Yeah.
that's definitely a point to lean into, not feeling supported by your team is huge and probably the root of the problem. So yeah, definitely need to lean into that, pay attention a little bit more to the verbal aspect of it all.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to stop the
Recording.
recording and then I'll hit record?